In this module, I'm really shooting for you becoming an exceptional stakeholder influencer, able to align and influence and engage with your stakeholders beyond the norm and to distinguish yourself in that. So to begin with, what I want to cover off are the classic errors that many people are making when they approach the subject or the topic or the task of stakeholder management. The first one is believing that hitting the send button is sufficient. That ticks the box for their stakeholder management duties. So they've produced a report, they've notified the stakeholder of what's required, what's coming up, etc. And they believe that that is stakeholder engagement. No, it's not. You've got to go an awful lot further than that. You've almost got to go and sit on their desk, enter their world, get in their face, if you like, to make sure that they are receiving the messages, processing those messages and doing something appropriate with them. The second thing that many people do is they only do stakeholder engagement when there's a problem there. When something has gone wrong, then they go out to try to engage with the stakeholders. And that is the worst possible time to try to build a relationship, when there's a problem in flight. So far better is to get up front, get to know the stakeholders whilst everything is good, so that you can build the bond of trust, build that relationship, so then when a problem does arise, you can be focusing on the problem, not the relationship. So it's really important that you are very proactive in approaching and building these relationships. The next thing that most people do, and it's natural to a certain extent, is guessing or assuming they know what the stakeholder is thinking, why they're opposing, why they're against, why they're trying to put things in the way. And that's a natural thing, because we have to take some shortcuts. But if you are making dangerous assumptions in high-risk areas, you are creating a huge risk for yourself. So you've got to get out there and ask. Never presume you understand that stakeholder. Even if you know them very well, it's almost like respectful to be able to go to them and say, hey, is this where you're coming from? Is this what you're thinking? So make sure that you don't make any errors in your assumptions. Make sure you get out there and check them. Another thing that a lot of people do is they're very vague about what it is they're after, what they're trying to achieve, what they actually want the stakeholder to do. So they might say, hey, I want you to support this project or this program. But what do you actually mean? And if you put yourself in the shoes of the stakeholder, hey, what's that person trying to get me to do? What do they want me to practically do to support them? And so the more clarity you can get about exactly what action you want people to take, your stakeholders to be taking, the much easier it is for a stakeholder to decide, yes, I'm going to do that. But many people are vague, they're hedging their bets, they're dancing around the issues rather than being very clear. Maybe it's they fear a little bit of rejection. Another thing that many people do, and it's quite natural, is to influence, as I call it, from their own page. So if you are approaching a stakeholder influence scenario, you've got a job to do, you've got a deliverable that you've got to bang in, and it's natural that, that is a big part of your world at the moment. But on the other side of the fence, it's only a small part of their world. So it's really important that you contextualize it in their world, translate it into their world, so that they can understand it from their side of the fence. And hopefully we'll get a meeting of the ways. But trying to always influence from your own position to get them to do what you want them to do is a very tough ask, a very difficult part of stakeholder management, and it's prone to fail, to be quite blunt about it. Because, and this is the next mistake that many people make, is that it's not the most important thing in the stakeholders' world. It may be prominent, it may be important, but they've probably got a list of 10, 15, 20 other key projects or decisions that they've got to make. So it's really important that you get your head around how your ask, how your request, how your project fits within the context of their world and all of the other things that they're trying to juggle, because then you can start to become more empathetic with the stakeholder's dilemma of saying yes to you, because he might have to, or she might have to, say no to somebody else. And the final thing to be very wary of, and I see this a lot, is when the stakeholder says yes, you assume it means the yes that you want. And what you've got to do when you hear yes, okay, great, well done, but go that extra step and actually try to determine exactly what they mean by yes, because it's no good you finding out at the next steering committee meeting that they had a different understanding of what that request was. So a lot of these errors come together and feed each other. So these are the top 7 that I want you to make sure and root out of your stakeholder influence practice. Make sure they don't appear anywhere in your activity, because that is not what really exceptional stakeholder engagement is all about.